Ooh, I love the smell of natural gas in the morning. Actually, I don't. Where we grew up, the place was covered in natural gas lines. Our home heating was natural gas, and because we had our own natural gas well, we didn't have to pay for gas, which was actually pretty cool. In fact, we were actually selling gas to the gas company. So every once in a while we would get a substandard gas check of like $10, $15, $20, $30 because of how much gas was sold. Because a lot of people around there had their own little gas wells. So we never had to worry about gas, and we barely had to worry about water, except for in the summertime, where sometimes the heat would just get too much, and we had a cistern. So I think at least once every couple of years during the summer, we would have to have someone come out and deliver water and put water in our cistern. Living in the country was absolutely fascinating and, to be honest, pretty fantastic sometimes, except for the fact that you were in the middle of nowhere, and the people you could visit within walking distance was incredibly limited, especially if you didn't like the people that lived close to you. You know, my best friend was about a half a mile away, and it was downhill. So that was fun. Fallout Wasteland Crunch chocolate candy bar. I haven't opened this one up in a minute. So it smells really nice. Oops. Well, I probably ought to turn the scale on. I did not turn it on. Okay, how much do we have in there now? Yes. There we go. It's much easier to fill up the Clever with pre-ground than it is to wait for the coffee beans to tumble out to weigh it. So this is the Fallout stuff. I don't know if that's cooled off or not. They've probably still got a bunch of Fallout stuff on their website, Bones Coffee does, but I don't know if that's kind of fallen off or not. We watched the first episode, and it's my fault because I keep doing other things and I quit thinking about it. I keep meaning to go back and watch, and I never do the rest of it. There's a couple of those. The Boys, that superhero thing on Amazon. I've been meaning to watch that as well, but there was a point when it started, I watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes, and it was so dystopian, and it felt like there was no hope, and there was nothing anyone could do against these horrible people with superpowers. So I turned it off because it's like, I don't need a hopeless. It's like every other show and movie is just hopelessness. And it may turn around at some point, but you have to get through a mountain of hopelessness and feeling inferior and feeling everything is going to be awful. You know, I'm getting a little tired of that whole genre of show where, I started the timer, that's really weird. Where, you know, there's no hope. And I don't know, it just gets old. That's why the superhero movies were always really cool to me. And I know that they're like a dime a dozen now, but it's like, you know, if it ends on a downer, the next iteration is going to be them fighting back. You know, it's just like Infinity War and Endgame, you know. I mean, they fought very hard, and then they got to the end and they lost. But then everything comes back together, and there's this epic thing where they make it better. You know, and that's 2 whole movies. But you can go through like 2 seasons of these shows now, and that's like 10 hours of content, 15 hours, 20 hours of content, and it's like bleak and dystopian and beats you over the head with a lot of different things, and it's just really off-putting. So I've been not watching it, but then I've seen some of the interesting things that they've kind of come up with this season. We've all seen the meme of Homelander getting the milk in the face, and I'm like, I know what that is. Before they even completed the entire scene, I just remember seeing Homelander getting shot in the face with milk, and I'm like, I know what that is. Now we seem to be getting to the point where, you know, all of these big, bad, horrible people are super silly. Maybe I can handle watching it all the way through now. But yeah, I mean, that's why I know people complain about, those kind of Marvel movies now, but they're kind of like a bastion for me. They're like, I am drawn to those because I know at the end everything is going to be okay to a certain extent. Whereas in these, there's this cartoon, I guess, on Netflix where the people crash land on a planet that they can live on, but everything is like trying to kill them, and it just seems like torture at a certain point, and it's like I can stomach that for a minute, but I can't over multiple episodes watch even animated people get tortured over and over and over and over again, and then see no happiness in sight, and then have a glimpse of happiness, and then have that taken away. There's just so much of that now, but people are into that. So I don't want a reflection of what's happening in the real time. Oh, and France. I guess my friend who I mentioned last week that we visited with at ComFest, the person that loves French and France and all things French, apparently it's not going to be a right-wing country. So apparently there's enough going on to where anything that they try to do can be defeated. So, it may make a government kind of stalemate at that point, but you won't see terrible xenophobic legislation go through as often, I guess. That's good news. It would be nice if we followed suit, but it is a jungle out there. Anyhow, this thing. This is a thermocell. Switching gears dramatically. Inside is a little capsule of mosquito repellent, and it heats it up, and then it aerosols it out, and it repels mosquitoes in theory. Let me turn it on here, and then it's heating up now, and then at a certain point it'll start puffing the aerosol out. We don't need it to do that. So, and it charges down here via USB, micro USB. And yeah, it sort of works. We're gonna take that camping. I'm going camping this weekend. I'm very excited about that. The last camping trip we had planned, we kind of canceled because of the weather it was too cold and it was gonna rain. So this Friday, we're heading up to the same area, but not the same place. We were going to Put in Bay last time. This time we're going somewhere else. Not exactly sure where it is, but it is in that same area to the north. And hopefully it'll be warmer and not rainy. So that'll be fun. I'm gonna re-put up my tent probably Thursday to make sure I can get through it by myself okay. And then I'm going to inflate the inflatable mattress that I'm taking with me because I'm not sleeping on the ground. One thing ComFest showed me while we were at ComFest, it was that I can't be on the ground. We had a nice blanket. We sat on the blanket. We laid on the blanket. I attempted to sit cross-legged on the blanket. I leaned on my elbow on the blanket, and I had to change position every 5 minutes because it just hurt so much. It was worth it because in the end, we had a good time, but still, it was very painful. So I'm hoping beyond hope. Let this steep for about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. We'll see. We'll see when I stop talking. I just can't. I can't lay on the ground. I can't sit on the ground. So I'm going to be taking a chair with me and the air mattress, which is it's just a twin air mattress, so it fits fairly compactly. I'm going to be taking one of our pieces of luggage with us that rolls. So that will be, everything should fit in there, I hope. We'll figure it out. Even the tent, if I roll it up more properly after Thursday afternoon when I've got it apart, If I roll it up, it should fit along with the tent spikes into that rolling suitcase. So, I don't have to worry about food and water at that point. And I don't think it's a remote camping area. I think it's not. It's fairly accessible. So I don't know how far we're going to have to hike to get to it. Tim does. It'll be very interesting to find out. I want to be surprised, but then again, I don't want to be surprised. I want to know if I'm going to have to fit my luggage with off-road tires. So it'll be okay. I'm not worried. We'll have a good time regardless. So I guess. I forget what you do when you camp. I mean, do you just sit around the camp? I don't know if there's hiking trails. I don't know, if there's anything else to do. I mean, sitting around a campfire all day sounds fine to me. As long as I've got my bug spray, everything's fine. Because when I need bug spray too. I've been sitting outside and I've already been eaten up a couple of times outside. Back of my legs have been chewed on by mosquitoes and various other animals. Bugs, not animals. Animals I could see, bugs I can't. Not in the dark anyway. So, and that's what's going to happen over the weekend. I'm going to be Friday night, Saturday night, and come back on Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. Should be fascinating. I'm going to take coffee with me. I think I have enough of the s'more time left to make a go of that over the weekend. I'll evaluate that tomorrow, maybe. We'll see. But I'll take that and the AeroPress. And then we should be able to heat water somehow. I mean, we'll have a campfire. We should be able to heat water over a campfire, I would hope. I kind of wish I had a collapsible kettle that I could take with me that had a thermometer on it, but I don't think that exists. Or if it does exist, I've not seen it. So, granted, I've not looked very hard, but we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what the weekend brings. And then it's actually going to be quite a busy set of weekends. This weekend is my camping trip. Next weekend, family's coming over and we're making pork on the barbecue. We're going to smoke it overnight, so that's always fun and delicious. And then the weekend after that, we're going to Minneapolis, and I'm going to watch Riff Tracks live, which I'm kind of waiting on which joke they pick. We kind of went over this a while ago when it all happened. The Kickstarter, I was able to write a riff. So I wrote 5 jokes for the movie Point Break. Actually, I wrote the majority of the movie. There were a couple of places where it seemed like it was banter back and forth, a place for banter, because there was like nothing going on. So I don't. They kind of said don't write for banter between the riffers, because there's 3 of them. Sometimes they go back and forth, making funny jokes while nothing or montages or something like that are going on the screen. And they've gone on for so long, it's like you can only make so many jokes about surfing. So those ones I didn't really get into, but it was about the meat of the movie. I'd say about 45 to 50 minutes of the movie I wrote jokes for. And then I picked my 5 favorite ones, and I sent them off to Connor. And nobody's gotten back to me yet, but he did say that he got the email. So I do know he has the email. And sometimes they don't finish the script until a couple of days before. So, I mean, it's not pre-recorded. They're not pre-recording anything. They're going live. So sometimes they have rewrites, and if you make a joke about somebody and that person dies, you kind of want to rewrite that little part right there. You don't want to do that unless it's, someone who would appreciate a joke about them, or, that kind of a thing. And people can be sensitive about that stuff, and that makes sense. Sometimes people respect. I think he said, I think Connor said once, it was 2001, where they did the Kickstarter one year, and then COVID happened and they couldn't have the show because the venues weren't allowing that many people in an area, and they didn't want to take away from anybody else's experience. So they waited a year, and then they had a Ruth Bader Ginsburg joke in it, and they decided because she passed away, they had enough time, they rewrote the joke so it wasn't Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So that was very interesting. Ooh, we've gone past the time, so let's put our clever on our Stitch. He won't mind. He likes coffee. So that's happening at the end of the month, and I'm very excited about that because we're going to go to Minneapolis and I'm going to hear whatever joke they decide to. I gave them 5, so they have 5 to choose from. They can choose all 5 if they want. I don't care. It's just that specifically the Kickstarter said we will pick one riff from your set of jokes. So, which is cool, you know. But I mean, I gave them 5. They should feel free to use any of the 5 or all 5. I thought they were pretty funny. A couple in particular were pretty funny. Keanu Reeves in Point Break is very, it's written so weirdly. It's just a weirdly written movie that could only be made, I think, in that time because it's just, well, it's a surfer movie to start with. I mean, it's a cop becomes a surfer movie, and that whole thing happens very quickly. It's not like it happens over an entire summer. It feels like over like 2 or 3 weeks. He becomes a really great surfer. That's not a lot of coffee in there. I could have gone another 100 milliliters, couldn't I have? It's all right. I don't need that much anyway. Ooh, that smells really nice. Chocolate candy bar. Wasteland Crunch. It's got a nice, it's actually got a really nice creamy kind of taste to it. You kind of get that when you eat a chocolate bar, don't you? But with like a Hershey's, it's more like kind of artificially kind of tasting almost, but it's like you've had a Hershey all your life. If you've had Hershey's all your life, Hershey's chocolate bar tastes like the standard chocolate bar, you know? So, and then somebody introduces you to good chocolate and you're like, this isn't that good. Because your tastes are different. Your tastes are different, and that's just, you know, how you grew up. So, you know, not necessarily anything wrong with that, but it's good to open up your palate every once in a while and experience new things. It's a lot of fun. So we have that to look forward to. I guess I'll talk about the experience after that. That'll be in August because that's the last weekend in July is the trip up to Minneapolis. We're going to be staying in the downtown area, and that's where the big State Theater is, and that's where everything's going to be. So I'm pretty excited. It'll be a lot of fun. And, you know, I've heard my past, well, the first one was Swamp Thing, and that one was given to Bill. And Bill did it exactly how I envisioned it in my head, and that was really great. We saw that in a theater here in Columbus, but then the next year we decided we were just going to go down and see it there live at the theater in Nashville, the Belcourt. And we went in and hearing it live, because Kevin did it that time, and he just did it with so much gusto, and it just made me so happy to hear him say it that way. And then it got a great laugh. It was a corny joke, and I love corny jokes and fart jokes. I love both of those things. So it was really funny. So this one will be pretty cool too. To see who gets the joke, number 1, and number 2, see how they deliver it. So I'll give them notes if I don't like it. Yeah, right. It kind of smells like pudding. It smells like chocolate pudding just a little bit when you get it up close enough. But then, of course, you get too close, and then you smell the coffee along with the chocolate. But it's a really great coffee. I really like this one. It's not my favorite, but it's a good coffee, and I do like it. Thank you so much for watching this morning. I really appreciate it. I've got something coming up in the next couple of, maybe next week, that should grace the channel. It will be long, and there will be a lot of me complaining about how much my fingers hurt. And that's just a taste. That's just a taste of what it's going to be. So, but I'm working on that right now, and it should be up not this week, but next week. hopefully, if I can buckle down and start editing and turning out more episodes daily rather than just 2. So, thank you for watching. We will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.